Now hear the word of the Lord from Isaiah 9, 6 through 7. For a child is born to us, a son is given to us. The government will rest on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. His government and its peace will never end. He will rule with fairness and justice from the throne of his ancestor David for all eternity. The passionate commitment of the Lord of heaven's armies will make this happen. This is the word of the Lord.
You may be seated. Oh, good morning, everyone. Peace be with you. Welcome. I honestly didn't know if anyone would come to church the Sunday after Christmas, so good to see humans here. If you are visiting, good for you. Visiting a church first Sunday after Christmas. My name's Jonah, and I'm one of the pastors here at Sojourn. Thanks for coming here and being with us. Our mission as a church is to reach people with the gospel of Jesus Christ. That's the good news of who Jesus is and what he has done for us. And then to build each other up as Jesus' church and send each other to follow him. So thanks for being here and being a part of it. If you have yet to participate in year-end giving, I've got good news. We've got 3 more days. December 31st, I was told to hit it one last time. Our goal for this year, if you're visiting, none of this will make sense. We've talked about this for like 3 months every Sunday. We set out to raise $50,000 to send to organizations specializing and focusing on vulnerable children in our community. And then we wanted to set aside a chunk to renovate our playground over there to make an inclusive, nice playground equipment over there. And so we've exceeded our goal. Last I checked, we were over $53,000. So just thank you. It's pretty incredible. The little engine that could, you guys, and we just keep couldn't. So proud. For the playground, I think we're close to $100,000 set aside for the playground, and we're shooting for over 200 for the total investment of it. It's breathtaking how much commercial playgrounds cost, and so that's what it is. If Santa brought you like $50,000 for Christmas, it's not. I'm just saying it's not too late. If you would like to give to year-end, you can fill out a check and put year-end giving in the memo line. There's a box in the back and up front. You can drop it in or in the baskets as they go by. Or if you give online, just make sure you hit year-end giving in the drop-down menu, and all of that will be set aside for year-end giving. Also, today is Joe Titchener's last Sunday on staff. Joe Titchener, ladies and gentlemen. We talked about this last week, so if you want to hear more about it, you can go and listen to the podcast from last week. But there's no drama. Joe just has a grown-up job, and it's hard to have 2 jobs at the same time. And so he came and said, basically, if this isn't sustainable for me, and I was like, well, we'll just wait on the Lord to provide. And he's like, well, I talked to Ryan Marsh, and Ryan Marsh wants to do the job. And so the organ keyboard player, Ryan Marsh, is going to come on staff. So today is turnover day. And I think just speaking on behalf of all people who've been on a church staff, Kara and Joe, thank you all so much, especially with little ones and full-time jobs. You guys have been unbelievable. And so you've been real evidence of God's provision for our church. They're not going anywhere. Joe's going to be back in the band in a couple of weeks. Just really, really grateful. So next week, that'll be Ryan's first Sunday on staff, and we're beginning a new sermon series through the Gospel of Luke. The first chunk we're calling Fulfilled. Showing how we have all these promises of this child who would come and how these promises are being fulfilled in the life of Jesus. Daniel Carroll did the artwork for us. And starting with this series in the bulletins and online, we're going to give blurbs because we really have fabulous artists in our church. And when they send us the artwork, they'll send like a couple of paragraphs of here's what I was thinking and here's what the imagery means and here's why we're doing this. And we thought providing that for you all would be a great opportunity to kind of get in the minds of our artists and see some of God's creativity. And the reasons that Daniel made it this way are really, really quite delightful. So that starts next week. Great opportunity to invite folks to church. And then this is the big one, guys. We're in the Christmas season right now, church calendar lesson. We did Advent. Advent ends on Christmas Day, and we begin the 12 days of Christmas. And the 12 days of Christmas culminate with the day of Epiphany, the appearing, the revelation of Christ. And so on January 11th, we're having the Epiphany feast. We do this every year. And so just mark that on your calendars. Right after the service, everybody's invited. Your sister's invited. Your cousins, uncles invited. Anybody's invited who likes eating and laughing. And so that's just going to be a big party where we stick around after church and celebrate. You're welcome to bring your favorite food if you'd like. So that's right after the service on the 11th. And then really, this whole series, I got excited about doing this series because of the line we're going to talk about today. At the end of this, we've said this is our 6th time in Isaiah chapter 9, 6 through 7, since Advent began. That last line, the Lord of heaven's armies, the passionate commitment of the Lord of heaven's armies will make this happen. It sounds so intense, kind of heavy metal. When you think of passionate commitment, what comes to mind for you? You might think like that English word passion. You might think enthusiasm, zeal. Could even be jealousy, like the good kind of jealousy, that like longing for your spouse. Commitment's a little bit more straightforward. Think dedication. One of the regular rhythms in our church on Tuesday mornings, the staff gets together and tells me what's wrong with my sermon. So if you've never had that kind of experience, I would highly recommend it. It's actually really great, and it makes the sermons better, and I think it's good. But when we were talking about the sermon, someone brought up the Care Bears. Do you guys remember the Care Bears? Anybody? We have an old enough crowd to remember the Care Bears? Okay, so if you're like the Care Bears, what are this? It's a children's cartoon. Talking to you guys, front 2 rows over here. It's a children's cartoon. And you're like, what is it about stuffed animals? Sort of. The teddy bears, the best way I could summarize what the Care Bears were, are teddy bear wizard warriors with magical powers. Okay? Teddy bear wizard warriors with magical powers. Why are they there? They're there to save the day. I got so far into my research that I listened to the Care Bear theme song again, and there's just this banger line from the theme song. I'm going to read it for you. I don't know if I could do that. I'm getting it confused with gummy bears. Do you remember the gummy bears bouncing here and there and everywhere? But sorry. The Care Bears, here's a line from the theme song. Just when you think that trouble's going to pounce, who's going to be there when it really counts? The Care Bears. The Care Bears are going to be there. Why can you count on them? Again, they are magic wizard warriors. They have incredible magical powers. When things get really dark, you guys are not going to believe this. I'm so jealous that I'm not learning about this for the first time. I'm talking to the teenagers over here who don't watch good shows, I guess. Shots fired, oh! What's the Care Bear's secret weapon? Anyone? The Care Bear stare. That's what their special move is called. And you're like, what is this? Is this a death ray? Is this heat vision like Superman? Is it some kind of spell that fills the souls of their enemies with terror and dread? This is like one of the most profound things that's ever happened in a cartoon. When it gets really dark, these teddy bears, they link arms, or they hold hands, they stick out their chubby bellies, and they shoot love from their hearts. Can you imagine if you were the one in trouble and the magic bear wizards show up and they're standing in front of you and you're like, now they're going to get it. They're going to rain fire on our victims. And they stick out their bellies and you watch them launch love into the darkness. With all of this power, all of this focused commitment, all of this zeal for justice, it's love that wins. Their greatest power, the Care Bear stare, is focused, connected love pointed towards a common goal. if someone tells you they are passionately committed to something, how you interpret that depends on who the person is that says they're passionately committed about something. Meaning you interpret it differently based on who says it. If a teenager says that they're passionately committed to becoming an astronaut, I hope all of the adults in here, the grown-ups, would say to that teenager, go for it. A word of encouragement. Shoot big, try hard, go. We would encourage it. And in the back of your minds, you're probably not going to liquidate all of your life savings to fund space camp for them. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, we would encourage it and take kind of a wait and see approach. I don't know, like, they've done a lot, but an astronaut's pretty tough. Like, we'll see. You might be a little bit skeptical about it. Go on the opposite extreme. If Elon Musk says we're going to Mars, I don't know, man. I've seen that dude land a rocket on a moving platform on the ocean. That creep might be going to Mars. Because he's a creep, but he's brilliant. But he's a creep, but he's brilliant. He has resources. He's got a track record of incredible engineering feats. So when he says, I'm going to do this engineering thing, I don't know, man, he might pull it off. He's the richest man in history, I think. When someone tells you their plan, especially when that plan involves you, how you respond really depends on who that person is and what they do with their resources. So like if Elon Musk has a dream in the engineering world, I'm likely to believe he'll pull it off. If Elon Musk says he cares about my children or my family, I'm just not sure I buy it, because he's got 14 children from 4 different women and 3 wives. He's been publicly high multiple times, including in the White House. I'm like not just arbitrarily saying he's a creep. He's brilliant. Do I believe he has the best interest of my little ones in mind? We can say he's brilliant and he's got the most resources of any human who's ever lived, but that doesn't mean we would trust him. He's not quite a Care Bear, is he? The reason I say that, all of that, is because throughout Advent, a plan has been revealed to us. And we've been told someone is passionately committed to this plan. God has revealed to us that a child will be given to us. A child who will rule forever. A child who will be for us a wonderful counselor, a prince of peace, an everlasting father. And we are told that this child is passionately committed to the plan. If you're new to church or you haven't heard these things before, the plan, it would be understandable if you said, this is too good to be true. It's a plan far greater than going to Mars or becoming an astronaut. We've been told the plan is to forgive you of sin. It's to restore your broken body, to heal your wounded soul, to reconcile you to your fellow man, to literally rebuild the whole earth. A plan to prosper you, to bless you. And not only you, but again, all of creation. It makes me think of the just beautiful line from the famous Christmas carol we sing, Joy to the World. We sing, no more let sins and sorrows grow, nor thorns infest the ground. He comes to make his blessings flow far as the curse is found. So in human history, who has the curse touched? Everyone. Everyone. How far has the curse been found? Everywhere. Jesus comes, this child comes to heal and restore everyone, everywhere. The child king comes to undo what has been done and to replace curse with blessing. He's passionately committed to this. And unlike so many others, we can trust this man because, as Isaiah ends this section telling us, the name of the Lord is Lord of heaven's armies. He is the Lord of heaven's armies. This passage that we've looked at it 6 times now, It's been steeped in political and military language. Lord of heavenly armies, sometimes you might hear it as heavenly host. This is the same phrase translated in different ways. It's used to describe the way divine beings relate to the Lord. And if you're like, whoa, divine beings? I thought we were monotheistic. If those words don't mean anything to you, don't worry about it. It's a little bit complicated, but the Bible reveals to us that there's this, you might think of it as a dimension. The scriptures call it the unseen realm. There's a whole other world that we can't see, that we have a hard time interacting with. To say that these beings are divine is to say they're from the unseen realm. To call them a divine being is kind of like calling you guys Hoosiers. It talks about where you're from. Some of those divine beings are angels. They have different functions. Angel is like an occupation. It's a role rather than the kind of creature it is. So they're not like God, but they serve him in a unique way that's different than we do. So this group, heavenly host, heaven's armies, is a pretty significant group, pretty important group. It's an army, we're told. If you ever want to buy an expensive book that will be very helpful for you, I would buy the Dictionary of Biblical Imagery. It's anywhere from like $50 to $100, but it's like worth its weight in gold. And in there, here's one of the ways it defines who the heavenly host is. This heavenly host is a vast number of angelic beings, mighty and noble, who relate to Yahweh, that's G-O-D, God, capital G, God, the Creator, as knights related to feudal kings, in homage, in service, and in battle. They are a vast army, loyal to the purposes and desires of God. So when you read heavenly host, think Knights at the Round Table. Think Gandalf with the army coming over the hill into Helm's Deep. You know what I'm saying? Do any of those references make sense? It's a huge, terrifying army. And they relate to God, these great warriors, noble, powerful, like knights relate to their king, which is to say they're committed, they're loyal. So who is the one that has this plan? He is the creator and sustainer of all that is. He stands at the head of a vast army of divine beings. Sometimes in the Bible, these guys have flaming swords. Seeing one of them is so terrifying that people pass out in their presence. They look like living lightning. This creator God has unlimited resources, unlimited power, which means even the most outlandish sounding plans are easily accomplished by him. So when we think of an army coming to win a war, how might we expect that army to announce its arrival? What might we expect them to do? This army shows up all over the place in the scriptures. They showed up on Christmas morning. And do you remember who did the heavenly host? Who did they announce their arrival to? We remember? Shepherds. Strange. Hey, the army's coming. Tell the shepherds. That's strange. And do you remember when the heavenly host split the sky open and they announced their arrival by casting drone strikes on their enemies? That by rolling out catapults and invading Bethlehem and razing King Herod's palace. No. How did heaven's armies announce their arrival? They sang. They sang a song, and their song announced good news to all people of peace on earth. It should tell us something about our King that this vast divine army shows up with the song on their lips. This King's passionate commitment to his plan was not shown through violence or political maneuvering, which is what was expected, which is what the people wanted. And I think most of us can relate to that. We want to see our enemies cast down with overwhelming firepower. But that was not the way of the Lord of heaven's armies. His passionate commitment was shown through sacrifice and suffering. He did not build himself up. He did not hide on a yacht. He did not build a doomsday bunker. The Lord of heaven's armies' arrival was announced by singing, and his life was marked by suffering. Everywhere we look in the world, the powerful try to climb higher and accumulate more. Higher and higher they go. What does the Lord of heaven's armies do? The maker of all that is, the creator and sustainer of all that is. As the world climbs higher, the Lord of heaven's armies stoops lower and lower. This heavenly host shows up all over the Bible, including in the New Testament. And at the moment of Jesus' arrest, we get just such a stunning picture of the Lord of heaven's armies and the way he intends to use his infinite power. And let's let you know, this is like one of my most favorite stories in the Bible. It's one of the reasons I'm convinced the Bible is true, because it's just like so ridiculous that the only reason it would show up in here is that this is what actually happened. So Jesus and his friends they just got done praying. Well, his friends got done sleeping. Jesus got done praying. And these people, these Roman soldiers, show up to arrest Jesus. One of his friends, who is not a soldier, pulls a sword. You guys remember this story? He swings a sword at a Roman's head, and he lops his ear off. I just can't believe it. Just try to picture it in your head for a second. A fisherman pulling a sword against a professional soldier and just like winging it at the guy or something. Like, how bad do you have to be with a sword to accidentally cut somebody's ear off? And nobody would write a story and be like, you know what we should have him do? We should have Peter cut his ear off. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And if you're doing this against an enemy, like that's a serious injury enough to just make you more angry. You know, it's not, if your ear gets cut off, you're not like immobilized or something. So there's the scene. Peter has just pulled a sword. He's tried to chop a Roman soldier's head off, and instead he just nicks the guy's ear. And everybody's fussy and likely angry. And then Jesus tells him to put his sword away. And listen to what Jesus says to Peter. He says, don't you realize I could ask my Father for thousands of angels to protect us, and he would send them instantly. Because where do good soldiers go? Wherever the king tells them. The king could have summoned thousands of divine beings made of living fire, and they would have shown up instantly. All that firepower was at Jesus' fingertips. But he told Peter to put his sword away, and Jesus put his own away too. The Most High God bent down low. He left his throne to come to a manger. He left his kingdom to come to the earth and live among us. He had no servants, no maids, no couriers. He worked with his hands, sweating and straining. He subverted all of his strength, not to lift himself up, but to bend down low. He spent his adult life in pursuit of downward mobility, descending, going low to lift up the oppressed, going low to lift up the vulnerable and the hurting. The one with all of the strength imaginable used his power to help those who cannot help themselves. It's like one of the craziest taglines that somehow has infected our culture. God helps those who help themselves. You will not find that in the Bible. Instead, the Almighty goes to those with no power, who cannot help themselves, and he lifts them up. How will the Lord of heaven's armies defeat our greatest enemy, death itself? Not by committing violence, but by receiving it. It's worthy of a lifetime of reflection. He absorbs death by dying. He defeats death not through conquest, but through self-sacrifice. And so, after all of these weeks talking about the name of the Lord, really the core question for all of us is, can we trust one such as this? Seeing all that he's done, all that he has, the way he wields his power, can we believe this one is worthy of our trust? What might it look like for you to trust one such as this? I can't answer that for you. I don't know what's going on in your life. A child is born to us. Isn't that something? How will God come near? What must this say about the heart of God? Despite his power, despite his armies, he comes to we who are weak and vulnerable in the most weak and vulnerable of ways. What must he think of you to come this way? It's been revealed that the child's name is Wonderful Counselor. Will you trust his guidance? Has he done enough for you to trust that he knows a better way? I promise you it won't make sense. But man, I don't know, if you're over 30, you know that you don't know what you want, yeah? Like you know that your ways don't always work out. You don't know what's best for you. Can you trust one such as this and at least fight to be okay when the way forward doesn't make sense? Despite his royal throne, he comes not to demand or order you around like a subject. Jesus calls us friend. He comes to lead us with gentleness, showing us a way to life. It's been revealed to us that the child's name is Mighty God. Will you trust his strength? He's not come at you. He's come for you. He can be for you a shield around you, a rock and a refuge, a hiding place. He's come to protect and provide for you. It's been revealed that the child's name is Everlasting Father. This is maybe the most difficult question for us. Will you trust his love for you? In Ephesians chapter 1, it says, in love, he chose us. As far as I know, none of us chose the families we were born into. You know what I'm saying? It's like a cosmic roll of the dice. Maybe you had good parents and maybe you had not so good parents. Maybe you had parents that tried their hardest and were just real limited. Maybe you had parents that died early. And we had no say in all of that. Jesus chose his family. Just something to think about. He chose the family he'd be born into. He chose a life on the run, hiding in Egypt and another country. And now, he chooses us. And it says because he loves us. He has shown the world his love in this way. The Father sent his child into the world that whoever trusts him will not succumb to his death. The child's name has been revealed to be the Prince of Peace. Will you trust his healing? He comes to make you wholly and happily yourself. If you're willing to admit that you don't really know what's good for you, that's not too far from admitting you don't really know who you are either. But maybe he would show you. You won't understand every path he takes you on, but can you trust his destination? Has this child done enough for you to trust him? This glorious plan for your good and the restoration of the world is in the Lord of heaven's armies' hands. How will you respond? The Lord of heaven's armies has set his affection upon you. Just makes my head roll off. He has set his affections upon you. His passionate commitment has made this happen, and he has shown us that it is his love that will pierce the darkness and overcome evil. Do you realize we're here in Indiana worshiping him because of it? He was born in the Middle East. He did not look like us. He did not speak English. And somehow this message of this good news has traveled the globe and endured for 2,000 years. The Lord of heaven's armies has set his affection upon you. Trust the Lord. If you're willing and able, stand with me and we'll pray together.